Welcome back, everybody. House Party 5v5. We got the Premier League Week 4. This is match number 3 coming at you. We've got Vanquished on the blue side. They were the second place finishers in last Premier League Season 3. And we've got Industrious Gaming on the red side, who came in second place from the minor league, made it through the promotional rounds, and find themselves in a great spot in the Premier League. I'm Thunderdome, and today we've got Deck Club Ace.
Hey guys, and already, bans coming out really fast, and we see our first Gangplank ban and a Zillion ban, interestingly enough. I can't say that I was expecting a Zillion ban, but I can't necessarily complain, because he's definitely annoying, and certainly you can't kill Ian the Zillion.
It's quite odd to see that. Vigor, another newly OP found pick. He got a couple updates to his kit, and now he's just taken the professional scene by storm.
He was in a really awkward position for a while after he got nerfed because of his potential as a support when they heavily nerfed his stun field, because the delay on it is actually very significant if you know what you're looking for. If you know, okay, he's at this range, it's about this far away, all I need to do is just start walking in this direction and he can't hit me. And it made it a lot harder to land the Dark Matter. But now that they reduced the delay on his Dark Matter, it's a lot more reliable to land that whenever you manage to get somebody with the stun.
Yeah, so I want to talk about the Target Tristana band against IG Swords / Lord Merc. He rebranded due to the Worlds Tournament, clearly an IG fan, but we're going to refer to him as Lord Merc from here on out. He plays a mean Tristana, they don't want to give him that. On the other side of the play, the AD carry Vayne being targeted against them, it's a pretty strong meta pick as well.
Right, and the Vayne, I am expecting to see a lot of Vayne bans in the future, at least until either she gets nerfed a little bit, or until some of the other AD carries get buffed, or until the Marksman rework that's going to be coming with the next season. But seeing the Jinx picks, I am interested because we usually see around Worlds the triumvirate of AD carries kind of rises, and I think this time around, strangely enough, the triumvirate has changed a little bit, because last season it was, what, Ezreal, Caitlyn, and Graves, with occasionally you would see like Vayne and such, but now it's like Jinx, it's a little bit of Ezreal, a little Vayne splashed in, maybe the occasional Corki. So it's a little bit more diverse, but the roles are still the same. You either want to carry, you want somebody that can push, or you want somebody that can kite. So one way or another, you're doing something with that. Some very quick picks coming out though. The Braum and the Lee Sin, we have seen a lot of very good Braum play recently, so very excited to see that being utilized, particularly up against this team comp that uses a lot of skill shots. And yep. On the other side, we see the Orianna and the Lulu, and those are very dangerous picks.
It's interesting, they banned out Tristana and Vayne, who are pretty hyper carry by nature, yet you see this composition of Industrious Gaming of protect the AD carry composition. With Orianna and Lulu, it can make for a very strong teamfight team as well. That might be a lane Lulu if they lock in a separate support here. So either way, Alistar, Morgana are more protection through Black Shield or through their ability to peel. Gragas has the same components as well. He can peel, he can engage, and he can tank for the AD carry, who they're putting a lot of faith in Lord Merc here, and honestly a good guy to have your trust in.
So, I'm calling it now that this is actually going to be a Kog'Maw. I'm not certain that he's going to pick a Kog'Maw, but this looks like a carry the Kog'Maw team comp, because it's not Juggermaw. It's, you have the Gragas, who can both force engages, which you don't usually need, but he can also force very strong disengages. You have Orianna, who is very strong for protecting an AD carry with the ball and with Shockwave. You have Lulu, who has a very powerful shield and a very powerful ultimate whenever built as an actual AP threat.
And you can't forget about the Black Shield from Morgana either.
Yeah, and the Black Shield from Morgana, which is incredibly powerful. Now, we do see Maokai and Azir being locked in, which are both very strong right now in their own respects. Maokai hasn't quite been as strong as he was a little bit earlier on. He's still good, He just has a lot more matchups where it's a little bit more of whether or not he can keep the momentum that he builds early. This could actually be a Twitch, which I guess is a good substitute for Kog'Maw. They do fulfill the same role, in that they are both relatively weak, but once it gets to the mid to late game, they are very strong.
Another thing to comment about a Vanquished squad, we're still waiting for the final AD carry pick, is that Maokai and Azir scale extremely well into the late game, along with Jinx, so they've got a pretty solid front line on Vanquished as well as back line to dish out the damage. Cat the Cougar, if he can manage to pull off an Insect and rearrange the AD carry on Industrious Gaming, he takes out a huge component to their damage, almost a little bit more than half maybe.
Okay, so they lock in the Kalista, and while it's not exactly the carry, the Kog'Maw comp I was expecting, or Juggernaut, or even the same thing with a Twitch, Kalista is a reasonable alternative, because she does put out a lot of damage. If she's allowed to just kind of roam around in the team fight, particularly if she builds, like, say, a Runon's Hurricane, and just gets to dance around and use Ren to kill people, she can be a huge threat. Now, I don't know if I would have picked it against a team comp like this, where you have like a Braum, because Braum is going to very much reduce the effectiveness of a Kalista if you try and do that, and also can reduce the effectiveness of the other Kalista builds, like the Ballista build, just any of the general trading builds. So I'm not sure. I think that it's going to come a lot down to whether or not they can deal with the Braum, and whether or not they can manage to get some picks out, because they do have, which picks besides picks for Lulu, they do have a lot of damage coming out. So maybe if they get the vision control, they'll be able to pick out, say, like Lee Sin, maybe they'll get Azir, maybe they'll get Jinx, and if they get any of that, then the team fight will very quickly swing in their direction.
There's a lot of things to be playing around. Braum and Azir can set up these zones and kind of terrains almost for Ricari to kite around, and without having a solid engage to get to her, Industrious Gaming is relying on Kalista's ability to shred through Lee Sin and Maokai before they can make it to the backline, where you're going to see Lulu and Gragas, Orianna and Morgana peeling for Kalista throughout the entirety of the fight. So it's going to be very much on the backs of the AD carries to shred the tanks, but it's going to be dependent on how well each team can protect their carry in the fight. Lee Sin has more dive potential than a Lulu, Gragas, and Orianna do, so Vanquished has a little bit more on their plate to play with in terms of how they want to go about these fights, whereas Industrious Gaming kind of locked themselves into this kite backwards and dish out damage composition.
You know, I think that the best thing that could come out right now from Vanquished is to camp bot lane, like set up a tent, destroy Kalista, make her completely invalid, and then build magic resist.
Yeah, there's a ton of magic damage, you're right.
Right, the rest of the team is all magic damage. If you make sure that Kalista can do absolutely nothing, then all you have to do is say, okay, we don't care about Kalista anymore. Let's kill Orianna, or let's kill Lulu. Let's pick somebody who we haven't just completely eradicated, and let's focus our efforts on them. Because if you look at the team comp on Industrious Gaming, it's a very heavy mid to late game scaling comp. They've got the Lulu, who scales very hard and does a lot of damage. They have Orianna, who can do a lot of damage, and Shockwave is very potent. Morgana, even as a support, she can do a lot of damage between the pool and between her bindings, and all of them do magic damage. All it takes is a locket and just building a little bit of magic resistance on everybody in your team, and suddenly your team is very, very capable of killing them, even if you're behind.
And one thing we know historically, when Lord Merc gets ahead, they do extremely well. So that's why it's even more pertinent for Vanquish to lock down Kalista and keep him back, especially with the team comp they've designed.
Well, we will see how it unfolds shortly. Catch you guys back on the Rift soon. afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the third game of the day. This time we have Vanquished versus Industrious Gaming. And I am already excited. We have a lot of movement coming out. And I am, of course, Deck Club Ace. I'm being joined today by my co-caster, Thunder.
Hey, we got a 5-man invade coming in from Industrious Gaming, possibly. A little bit more defensive start from Vanquished. And Alcantar's off to the side, trying to get a extra ward in to make sure no one's coming for their blue buff at the start, but looking like Cat the Cougar starting on the strong side of the map with Calfin helping out in the early jungle process.
Right, and I'm happy to see the diversity that comes out in a lot of these team comps in terms of what they choose to do, because we have seen earlier today, we did see one game where the top laners did not actually go and share. They wanted to get the fighting out early. And then this game and the previous game, at least one top laner in the last game, both, this game as well, probably both, split up the damage with their jungler. And it looks like they are going to probably hand over this Gromp to Kalista. That's a really good plan. You want to get Kalista as ahead in levels as possible. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Pocket Knife actually willingly gives up the XP that he could get to give Kalista the solo XP on it.
One thing that's really nice about having a ranged support when you're playing a Kalista is that you can proc that extra % health damage extremely easily due to the auto attack that Morgana can provide, and it gets a lot of extra poke on. Imagine if Kalista was level 2 and was able to take the extra damage from having Pierce, or maybe Rend.
Right, well, they do manage to actually split that XP between both of them, so it's not going to go all to just the Kalista. A lot of trading coming out early in the mid lane, though. And,
There's
of course,
so many auto attacks.
Showing off their support. Simrim getting caught out by a binding.
Trading sorry, man, my client was like lagging or something there, like froze up, but it looks like I'm good to go for right now.
A lot of damage coming out. Oh, another binding. This time hitting Ricari. Simrim not really able to block that one yet either. Both sides have hit level 2 though, so definitely want to be a little bit careful.
One advantage that Maokai has from going for the early jungle, although he has to burn the teleport, he gets away from Lulu's oppressive level 1. Her auto attacks added in with help picks, or just the passive from picks really, makes it so much damage coming out.
And that's true, and one of the things is that normally we see Maokai wanting to actually be in the lane early because Maokai actually has a lot of oppression of his own. He does a lot of damage, he has a lot of sustain.
Oh, the Dark Binding lands onto Simrim. He's got the Unbreakable Shield up, but there's so many spears stacked into him. However, Merc does not pull the Rend trigger.
He's been very hesitant to pull that unless he has another minion to reset it, because he doesn't want to be without it. And I can't blame him, because if he suddenly gets jumped on, he needs that to be able to kite.
Another thing that's really good about having Morgana playing into Braum is that once you get about 2 stacks on you, she can cast that shield and stop the stun, which is a huge component to having Braum be dominant in the lane. Without that stun, it's a nice slow, it's a fair amount of damage as well, but it really limits the trading potential that Vanquished has.
Right, and we're seeing, just looking around, comparing the various lanes, a little bit of, even across all sides, bot lane's really the only one where there's any sort of tip at all, and it's just kind of slightly leaning towards Vanquished, but not very much. However, just to note, Industrious Gaming has not used any of their potions on bot side yet. Not one.
Alright, Chileno Baby and Cat the Cougar finding each other in the jungle. And just a little resonating strike to give them a little bit of a warning there. Don't come in here. So
I think Chino Baby could have done that. I think that he would have been just fine against Cat, but I also think that he wanted to kind of temper his aggression a little bit early on.
Ooh, and a missed cannon from Lord Mert. He's down a couple, or he's pretty even in CS actually after that wave cleared out, but there's a fair amount more minions coming towards Vanquished 80 carry Ricari. That's a tongue twister.
And we do see the Scuttle Crab near Dragon was taken by Chino Baby, so Industrious Gaming will have the vision for that. Calvin taking a lot of damage, a lot more than he probably thinks he wants to be taking right now. He did start with a Doran's Ring, which is usually a pretty okay start, but I don't really think it's that great against Lulu. I think that he would have been better off starting with, say, a Flask or even some boots or something to be able to dodge the strength that is Lulu this early on.
Yeah, Glitter Lance is so much damage early on, as well as a powerful wave clear tool for Lulu. With Maokai being a melee champion, he has to run up to the minions, and she can just blast him through there, picking up the CS simultaneously. Early Pink Ward from Cat the Cougar is going to help clear out some of that deep vision Chino Baby has set up early on. Oh.
A lot of damage coming out. Looks like Alcantos kind of wants to go back, but at the same time, doesn't really want to let Splash know that he's doing it.
Oh, another missed cannon. I don't know if that's just a testament to Vanquished lane dominance. However, Pocket Knife lands the Dark Binding onto Simrim. The shield's up, the Chompers are down, but here comes Cat the Cougar, instantly gonna safeguard to his friend, and it's flashed out by Pocket Knife. Great summoner use.
If there was ever a time to be very defensive with your summoner use, that was definitely it, because if Cat had landed a Shockwave onto him, then Pocket Knife was dead. There's no way he was getting out, even with a flash at that point.
It was just well-timed gank as well, though, from Vanquished. Unfortunately, it didn't pay off for them in terms of kills, but they do get one of the summoners from bottom lane, and more pressure going over to Vanquished. Almost 10 CS differential for Ricari.
And the important thing about that was that that was also a fight that was being picked by Industrious Gaming bot side. Uh-oh.
Oh, Twisted Advance goes in onto 959. However, he's out of mana, so Calvin's gonna have to base. Oh, Chino Baby! Flash body slam into Alcantos! Alcantos instantly flashes away from the next barrel and makes it to safety, but IG Splash has got the advantage in this mid lane.
Well, he did trade a flash for a flash, and I think against an Azir, I think that Azir's flash is more valuable than Grog's flash.
Oh, absolutely. A solo laner flash is almost always worth the jungler's flash, because you can make that return gank, but it also opens up the possibility that IG Splash will be able to make the outplay. If he gets a well-set ball, that shockwave is almost guaranteed to kill Alcantos, assuming he's already used his soldier dash.
Let's see
Shifting Sands, that's what it's called.
We'll see exactly what Splash picks up. He does pick up the parts to his Grail, but he doesn't finish it yet. He has the Chalice and the Codex. With his blue buff, he should be able to do a lot of bullying for Alcantos, because Alcantos just used Teleport. If he can force Alcantos back, Alcantos has no Flash. And Splash does have Flash. So I'm expecting a little bit of an aggressive play here.
And that's maybe why Pocket Knife is roaming around there, aside from trying to secure some extra vision, maybe the possibility of a gank. With Cat the Cougar on top side getting spotted out by that pink ward in the river, that's a lot of information for Industrious Gaming to work off of, but their bottom lane is being consistently pushed in here, with Jinx having the BF sword advantage over Blightwater Cutlass. If Braum is able to get those stuns down, Simrim could make a kill for Ricari.
Yeah, the thing about playing against things like Callista and Bane is that Bilgewater is incredibly dangerous. It does a decent amount of damage, and it allows them to both use it offensively to continue chasing you, and maybe force a flash, and defensively to kind of kite away from you. Oh, missing that. Assuming he'd be able to get the Pierce, but he missed.
And that's the beauty of Braum right there, using the Unbreakable Shield to absorb those Dark Bindings. Dark Binding definitely on a slower cooldown, but it's a key ability to block. Oh, except it lands on Ricari this time. IG Swords get sniped out by Ricari, the Super Mega Death Rocket incinerating Callista.
I think the worst part was that IG couldn't even see it coming. Like, he didn't have a ward in the bush, he didn't see Ricari anymore, he's just like, oh, I'm totally fine, and then a rocket appears out of the bush.
That was just a great setup from Simrim, honestly, man. Getting that Winter's Bite down, had the slow, they knew the Black Shield wasn't available. Oh, there's no magic damage on Super Mega Death Rocket, I have no idea what I'm talking about there. However, Calvin getting the engage upon 959. He's smacking around the tree, is beating the little squid lady. However, Lulu able to back it off and might be able to continue the chase via help picks and Glitterlands. Blue team slaying the dragon, picking up the first one of the game.
It's a very good kind of snowball into getting that, and props to Calvin. He was kind of having trouble with this lane at first because of the early oppressiveness from Lulu, but he's managing to kind of slowly make his way into being useful. Oh, he needs to be careful. Gragas is coming up.
Yeah, Chino Baby going in. He's got the red buff for the slow on the tree. He's going to burn him down. Twisted Advance does not block the body slam. Explosive Class nails him away from the safety of his turret. 959 looking for the auto attack damage, but you can't stand too close because a Vengeful Maelstrom might do it, and it's not enough. Chino Baby picking up the kill. 959 gets the assist and gets a little bit more pressure in this lane.
That was really dangerous. That was so close to just dying, and I think a lot of that was because Calvin didn't realize that
Cat the Cougar,
he was gonna die.
He's going in on Pocket Knife. Oh my gosh,
okay.
He goes for the insect move. However, Lord Merc pulls his ultimate, and Fate's Call is gonna save Pocket Knife. Okay,
lesson learned, Cat. Don't try that on Pocket Knife. You need to do it on IG Swords if you do it to anybody.
You can almost never engage on Callista's support when she has her ultimate available. Oh, there's the zap. It barely goes wide. The teleport's being channeled. 900 is on the way. Chino Baby getting the stun onto Simran, but his shield's up, blocking a lot of damage. Pocket Knife going extremely low to Cat the Cougar. Oh, he gets the stun over the wall from the Soul Shackles. Chino Baby and IG Swords looking to clean up the kill. That's one secured with Rend. IG Splash picking up the one on Simran from a roam from the mid lane. There's a lot of assists going over. These guys are team fighting extremely well, and this could translate to a mid turret if they decide to push it.
I think that they kind of get a little bit too sick on their success. They did manage to get a kill onto Ricari, but that doesn't mean that you're suddenly capable of diving the tower. Like that was the only thing they could have possibly thought they were going to do is, oh, we're going to dive the tower, but the top laners have teleport. Well, one of the top laners has teleport. The other one doesn't, because he used it there. But both of them had their teleports. Both of them were in a position. Uh-oh, Chino Baby.
Very he's nice getting caught out, poked down by Alcantos. In the top lane, 900 putting a lot of turret pressure onto Calvin. A few more auto attacks might do it, and that's a turret secured for Vanquished in the top lane. However, IG Swords could be in danger here with a 3-man roam coming around. Chino Baby looking to help secure the kill on the tree again. 900 putting as much slowdown. He gets the Whimsy
He's out of mana, though.
And fortunately, yeah, but he could be trying to bait it in. Oh, no. Chino Baby gets found by the pink ward.
Oh, goodbye, Ricari.
He is going so low in this one-on-one situation. He heal baits. There's the red. It's not enough damage. Ricari showing a little flare after getting the solo kill.
Oh man, I don't know what to say. That was something where IG Swords had the advantage, and he just didn't quite get what he wanted out of that. You're seeing Alcantos clearing out a ward. Looks like they want to prep for the inevitable dragon. It won't be up for at least a little while. Ooh, Pocket Knife.
That's a little bit of a dangerous situation without any backup.
It's okay. They did manage to defend that blue buff, so no problem.
And Pocket Knife gonna be able to clear out those deep wards that Cat the Cougar just worked so hard for. Chino Baby and 900 teaming up so much on the top lane to keep this Maokai down. You don't usually see so... Oh, the Binding lands! Instantly uses Blade of the Ruin King to chunk his health down. Lord Merc picking up the kill against Cat the Cougar, but they're gonna trade the turret down. Ricari and Simran cleaning that up. The zap is down onto Pocket Knife. He's getting slowed. Simran blocks the Binding, but that slows their advance enough. They will not get a next kill off the back of that objective. So even though in the top lane 959 is up when it comes to the team plays, she is losing in CS and losing in the turret game. There's so much pressure being drawn by Calvin on Maokai right now. It's pretty impressive. There's Chino Baby is almost always up in this lane, and here might be a body slam gank coming in. Twisted Advance instantly onto him, uses the Arcane Smash, but a flash body slam follows him down. He's slowing him with the web breath. Explosive cast knocks him back into 900. However, he's going to use the Wild Growth to help keep him alive. Vengeful Maelstrom's going to dish out a lot of damage when he dies. He goes down, but here's Cat the Cougar, follows him with the Resonating Strike, gets a kill on 900. But Chino Baby is fighting off the enemy jungler. He does have the red buff advantage, but this is a Lee Sin, and it's not enough damage. The ward's in the bush to make sure he can continue the auto attack train, and red buff burns him out. Chino Baby, 3-0-2.
Yeah, I was going to say that bot side, normally you'd say, oh, okay, why would the support split away like that? But it was actually a good move for Pocket Knife to split away because Kallista's there to save him if for whatever reason Simram engages on him. But I have to question Chino Baby kind of camping top lane almost because, okay, you're getting Maokai down, but your bot lane is losing. Your mid lane is not really ahead by much, so you're focusing all of your attention on the Lulu, who isn't really losing the matchup. Like, he's lost his tower, but that's because of a really poor decision bot lane. That wasn't really because, oh, I'm losing my lane.
Yeah, and then Vanquished is putting the siege on mid lane. Shockwave catches Ricari and Simram in the middle of it. Chino Baby's using his body slam to zone him out. Flashes are forced all across the board from the bottom lane. Dark Binding lands on the Simram. Cat Cougar safeguarding in to save his teammate. Braum using his ultimate to zone off the team, but now Industrious Gaming on the offensive.
Tick for tack. Industrious Gaming only trading one ultimate for another. They traded Shockwave in the end for the Glacial Fissure, and this put the rest of Vanquish low enough that they just have to give up this dragon. Looks like they might go for a mid tower in response, but it's a little bit risky. Looks like the rest of Industrious Gaming just doesn't want to commit, though.
And look at that, Calvin setting up such a big push in the top wave, making the easy rotation through the jungle where they should have the vision control because they got to this area first. Pocket Knife getting caught out, 900 as well. Twisted Advance onto him, Ricari using the Death Rocket to help secure these Excited. She's going to go on a killing rampage pretty shortly. However, IG Swords is very low on the backside. Alcanto's putting up the wall to keep them safe. Chino Baby goes down. That's another excited moment for Ricari. The people on Industrious Gaming are quite low. Simram getting zoned off by the ball. They can't continue the chase, but there's a top turret in their near future.
Man, Ricari had crazy good positioning that entire fight because there was never a situation where he wasn't standing next to somebody who would be incapable of peeling the rest of the team away from him. Whenever, finally, somebody managed to get close enough to him, he was protected by the Azir wall. If somebody else gets too close, he's got Maokai. If somebody else gets too close, he's got Braum. So, I don't know, it seems kind of weird, because it's like the, the carry, the AD carry team is on the other side, despite the fact that the entirety of Industrious Gaming is kind of built around the Callista. Splash is doing well. It's not that Splash isn't a focus of the team, it's just that the rest of the team comp is so focused around protecting this AD carry. Or protecting a carry in general, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And Chino Baby's got a lot of presence in this game, but he's spent so much time on the top side that it's allowed Ricari to start going pretty ham on Jinx. And we all know what Jinx gets like when that snowball starts. She is extremely hard to take down because she dishes out so much damage, and having the likes of Maokai and Braum to peel for her, add in Alcantos using his Shurima wall to divide up the team fights, it's going to be extremely hard for them to get to Ricari. So Industrious Gaming having to focus the tanks is becoming very detrimental to their team fights, and they're not able to win because the carries are just as well, if not better, protected by Vanquished comp.
Well, I mean, we know exactly how Jinx gets whenever she starts getting a bunch of kills. She gets excited. She gets to kill more people. It's the little psychopath's sweat dream.
Pocket Knife, maybe going for a roam here, but decides against it.
Mid lane is getting pushed in pretty hard, but between Lulu and Orianna, I don't think that there's much going to come from that. They have a lot of wave clear.
That is one good thing about Industrious Gaming's composition. They can hold off the siege through wave clear. Although although Jinx is really good at taking turrets, Orianna is able to say, that's fine, you just will never get into turret range because you won't have minions to do it with. The teleport is being channeled from Calvin on the mid lane turret when Industrious Gaming is going to siege. They want to zone him off of it. They are not ready to give up on any of these objectives. They would love to fight. They've got the carries ahead who they want to be. The person holding the most gold on the side of Industrious Gaming is in fact their mid laner. However, the jungle is a close second as well.
I don't know. I think that Chino Baby having too much gold is actually a bad thing. And a lot of that comes down to every time he went top lane, he was getting the kills, and 959 was not getting the kills. So it looks like they're going to get a nice rotation down to bot side and get a really easy turret, maybe? No.
Oh my gosh, Pocket Knife. Gonna be even catching out Cat the Cougar here. IG Sword's trying to dish some damage over the wall, but he's able to walk to safety. Chino Baby flashes in, uses the barrel into the wombo from the shockwave. Industrious Gaming coming up huge in this fight. They're going to be able to clean up. That's the fight they needed. IG Sword's picking up some kills of his own. Alcanto's having to use the wall, but it's way too late. They're on the chase. And, oh my gosh, IG Swords flashes in to get the slow on him. Hits the Pierce, hits the Ren. Cat the Cougar here to try to do some damage and zone him off. However, it might not be enough. Pocket Knife, if he can hit a binding, this should be a kill, but they decide to give up on the chase because the other three members of Industrious Gaming are pushing the bottom tier 1 turret.
Yeah, I don't really know. I'm not sure what Vanquished was thinking there. I really don't know, because they were fighting near a turret, and every time that they've been fighting near a turret so far, they said, oh, okay, we're really afraid of getting Orianna ulted, so we're gonna hang away from it. And the one time they did get Orianna ulted, they lost a lot for it. They lost a couple of kills for it. And sure enough, they get too close to the tower, and Chino Baby is here. Okay, well, Chino Baby flash body slam initiates, knocks 2 people into the tower, and then, hey, guess who else is there? Splash, and Splash manages to instantly burst Ricari, and once Ricari is down, the rest of his team doesn't have any damage anymore.
I mean, they've got a little bit, but it's going to take Alcantos a few more items to scale up to get to Azir's full potential.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is that Azir right now is not in a position where he's ahead. He is potentially even in terms of what he can do, but I think that he is actually behind because he doesn't have a completed item that make or breaks a team fight. He has a Gnasher's Tooth right now, and while that is good, to a degree, that's not as good as, like, having a little bit more offense, maybe having his Rylai's completed, but he doesn't have that yet. And Orianna, on the other hand, has a lot of AP, and also has the Athene, so she can just kind of spam her spells a lot.
And really using the power of her carry, who is pretty fed. Chino Baby going in, but he gets grabbed by the Dark, or the Twisted Advance, Dark Binding landing onto the tanks. Oh, there's a 3-man Shockwave, Splash doing as much as he can, but Ricari is still safe. The turret's gonna give him the reset. Alcantos going in very aggressively. All the people on Vanquished are pretty low in comparison to IG, but they just do not have the momentum of Industrious Gaming to continue these fights.
I think Industrious Gaming, again, just kind of... They did the same thing that Vanquished did. Like, they got too aggressive. They assumed that, oh, well, it worked last time, it will work this time too. And they should have just decided, okay, well, either we need to give up the tower, or we need to get Pocket Knife in a position to where he can do something. Get Swords into a position where he can do something. And all it really was Gragas and Orianna. That's it. That's a lot of the damage that was coming out, because nobody else was in range to do much until after the fight was almost over.
And talking about those item spikes going into it, Ruan's was just finished on IG Swords, so he might be able to start dishing out a lot more of this AoE damage. But when you're broadly focusing a couple tanks that are diving you, at this point in the game, it's not enough. And Chino Baby getting caught out just a little bit, but they found Simrim. He gets barreled back into the team. That's a lot of Ren stacks. Vengeance is found. Lord Merc getting a kill. He's got 4 under his belt now. He's trying to get caught up to Jinx. Ricari finds himself... Oh no, it's Alcanto's getting found out. However, Chino Baby has got so much damage coming his way. One more auto attack. Cat the Cougar entices the resets. Jinx is so excited. He has to pull the ultimate to pull Morgana out of the way. That's a bad idea to disengage there. Lord Merc getting caught out. The Dark Binding slowing him down just momentarily. That's another kill picked up for Alcantos and Ricari. IG Splash and 959 are the only ones left on Industrious Gaming. They could be giving away a Baron. Oh, the kick is out, but it was not in the right direction. Cat the Cougar, a little bit of a misplay there, but here comes Jinx, and she loves to take these turrets.
You know, Ricaria is so excited, and he just can't hide it. He keeps just going from one kill to the next kill to probably the next kill. Uh-oh.
Possibly the next objective here as well. They've got four men pushing against the two. Oh my gosh, Calvin grabs out an IG splash. Shockwave hits three of them. That was huge for Industrious Gaming. Chino Baby trying to take down Alcantos.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So
that was a great turn.
Okay, so that was insane for a number of reasons. One, they burst.
Pocket Knife lands the ban, binding Alcantos. He's going extremely low, and he's able to cut her down with the soldiers. The Shuriman wall is there to give him some defense. Chino Baby knocks him to safety. Unfortunately, that was a terrible misplay on his end. Simram there to save him. Teleport's getting shouted in behind, but it's not in time. IG Swords is able to get the kill, but here comes 900 to give help to his AD carry, who only needed one more stack to be stunned. The kill is secured for 900, and IG just finding little situations to get their advantage.
God, there's so many, like, back and forth misplays. Like, okay, diving the top tower to potentially kill Splash. They lose Ricari instantly. Then they lose Kalfin because he was really low, and they both got hit by the Shockwave. And Cat the Cougar tries to dive, and he doesn't quite get Splash, and then everybody else is now on the run. And then Industrious does the same thing, but backwards. Like, Pocket Knife walks into Alcantos and dies. Chino Baby walks into Alcantos and ends up dying. And I don't know. This game is so back and forth in the throws.
And Cat the Cougar trying to secure some vision for his team around Baron. That could be a huge tipping point on the scales of this game for either team. They're rather close in gold. Objectively, though, Vanquished is destroying them on this turret game. However, that means there's even more gold for Industrious Gaming to put into their pockets if they could ever get control of this map. Honestly, in my opinion, their warding's been a little lackluster this game.
I mean, they're only about 1.5 gold behind. Or 1,500 gold behind. And they're 5 turrets down. So if they get one turret, they're caught up. That just shows that they're ahead in terms of their kills. They're ahead in terms of how the kill distribution is going. Because look, most of the kills right now on Vanquished are all on Ricari. Sure, Azir has a couple of kills. Cat's gotten a couple for himself. But meanwhile, on the other side, the kills are very well distributed between Chino Baby and Swords. And I don't necessarily think that Chino Baby having the kills is a good idea, because if you look, he's built a Frozen Heart and a Cinder Hulk item, and that's it. He's working on building something else, but he did make the good decision of building the early Ninja Tabi and turning those into Distortion Boots so that he can use his Flash more, because, again, we've seen him every fight he wants to be able to Flash Body Slam Initiate.
And he's looking for Ricari or Alcantos. They're going to be the best targets to take down because Vanquished is running a 2-threat composition. If he's able to single out one of those champions, it could be very beneficial for Industrious Gaming to winning that fight. But without the wards and map pressure, Industrious Gaming has to be extremely wary of where they go. The binding catches Ricari, but there's no ability for them to follow up blindly into the jungle as such.
Yeah, and topside is slowly pushing in. They've got a nice wave coming. Bot side is also pushing in, and that just leaves the interesting question of, are they gonna have to try and fight this, or are they just going to lose their inhibitor turret and have to go and defend bot lane soon? On Vanquish side, oh, looks like they just want to give it up.
There's so much wave clear coming from Industrious Gaming that I think Vanquish just needs to keep pushing the waves into the turret, make sure that any wards have expired in the Baron jungle, and then use their control of that area to secure the vision, and that will determine whether they dance around Baron or they just rush the Baron. But now Vanquish giving up a lot of their advantage because they left their heavily warded area of the map to go contest this new dragon that's been on the table.
Oh,
Calvin gets caught out. He has to instantly pop the Vengeful Maelstrom, but Ricari has already slain the dragon. The fight explodes. Calvin on the front lines. He is now dashing onto IG Splash. Orianna is going so low, getting so close to death, but Cat the Cougar is finding himself singled out between IG Swords. Ruan's dishing so much damage out to the team. 900 barely living on the back line. Alcanto shredding through the tanks as quick as he can, but the body slam catches him down. Pocket Knife gets pulled to safety by IG Swords, re-engages on Alcantos, but they instantly gets bursted down from the Ren stack. That's a triple kill going over to Lord Merc. Could this be the Quadra? Ricari gets taken out. That's 4. Let's make it 1 more. Lord Merc is on the chase. He's getting sped up by Lulu. He throws a Pierce. It's not enough. He's being slowed down. Can he hop through the minions? This could be it. He might have it here. The jukes from Cat the Cougar. Pentakill coming out for Lord Merc on Callista.
I think at that point, Cat the Cougar just decided to kind of give him the chance, because he sees IG has the red buff. He sees, okay, there's nowhere else for me to run. He probably could have maybe gotten a jump over a wall, but at that point, there's not really much he's going to get anyway.
And IG is starting up the Baron, but both teleports from each top lane are being channeled. Calvin is on the way, but he's kind of slow. He does not have home guards, but it's enough to zone them off, but they instantly turn the focus towards him. Second teleport coming in from Alcantos, but it's 2 versus 5. Chino Baby missing the body slam, but he nails the explosive shot. Shockwave is down, but he was already dead. Alcantos getting completely deleted off the face of the rift.
Jeez. So much damage coming out in such a short span of time. Alcantos didn't even have time to react. He even came in, he didn't have a whole lot to blow. He doesn't have a Zonies. He doesn't have Emperor's Divide. So I don't know what they were thinking. There's no way that they could have won that Baron fight.
Especially not without their other 3 members of the team being anywhere near close enough to follow up on those teleports.
And question is, what are they going to do with this next? They did manage to get a single tower from just minions. Unfortunately for Vanquished, though, all of the easy turrets are gone. The only ones left are the inhibitor turrets, and the only way they're going to get an inhibitor turret down against a team like this is either splitting up and going into a 1-3-1 scenario, which they don't really have anybody they can put into a 1-3-1 scenario, or trying to make a pick and then forcing a tower. And that's just not going to happen right now, not with Baron up, and not with the rest of the team being so far ahead. Just look at IG Swords. Look at how many kills he has.
He is so big right now, it's absolutely terrifying if you're on the side of Vanquished, and they have built this composition to give him as much protection as possible. He is in a great position to start carrying this game right now. However, Ricari, his excited spree died down a little bit due to, I don't know if it was miscommunication errors on Vanquish's side, but they seem to be a little disjointed compared to how solid they were looking in this early game.
Well, I think a lot of it came down to early game. They didn't have a lot that they needed to do. They could focus, okay, let's kill Callista, or let's kill, I don't know, let's kill Pocket Knife. Let's kill somebody who is easy to pick off. But now that won't work anymore, because Chino Baby is really tanky now. He's managed to build a little bit of MR for himself. He has a whole lot of armor, so Ricari can't kill him. He might eventually kill him, but he doesn't have a Last Whisper yet. He's got the pieces of it. And then you have so much peel coming out between Lulu, Orianna, and Morgana that we've seen multiple times. Callista's just been able to jump in and around the fights. There was actually a point where he picks up Pocket Knife, and Pocket Knife throws himself into Alcantos, and then comes back to block a Winter's Bite from Simrim. After which Swords just manages to go get his Quadra kill, which turned into a Pentakill.
There's just so many tools for Industrious Gaming to protect Callista, and Vanquished, their defenses are pretty solid, but they do lack a lot of the AoE damage. I mean, yes, if Jinx is using her rockets and Alcantos is hitting multiple members, but Chino is doing such a great job of zoning them off that they're not able to use that AoE to its full extent. They have to focus on the tank there, and it's nullifying a lot of the possible damage Vanquish could be dishing out. 900 gets caught. They might be going in for the engage here, but it looks like just a lot of pokes coming out. However, that Baroned up cannon minion doing so much work on the turret.
This huge wave that's bot lane, though. We're going to have to see Vanquish going bot side to deal with this. That or maybe a fight breaking out in the middle of the jungle.
Fighting in the narrow corridors against Morgana, Orianna, and Callista is quite dangerous. Even though you've got a little bit of your own AoE, it's not a good fight to take. Azir setting up his turret to buy them a little bit more time, wear down this Baron buff, so Vanquish can start getting an advantage. They do look like their top lane is pushing in their favor.
I have to say, I think that the build from Alcantos is a mistake. I think that in this situation where you have so many threats like this, that the DPS build that you get from Gnasher's Tooth isn't worth it anymore. I know that it's one of the best builds, I know that it's the one that like all the pros are using, but sometimes you have to go for Mage Azir. Sometimes you need to build like a Death Cap, sometimes you need to build a Morellonomicon. You need to be able to put out a large amount of damage in a short amount of time. And the DPS attack speed build just isn't the way to go for that. Because your soldiers, yes, they do a lot of damage, but you can also get a lot of damage by spamming the...
Oh, there comes the engage towards the carry, however, he zones him off with a trap.
It's very good disengage. A little bit risky for a second there, but oh, look, coming up from the side, we have Chino Baby. He might actually... Nope, he's just gonna bulk away, no problem. I was thinking maybe he'd come around and maybe explosive cask a few people into the team, but...
That would have been an exciting sight to see. Unfortunately, we didn't get to it, but I really would like what you were saying about Azir earlier. You need to have that burst damage mage instead of a sustained attack damage champion, and I think you should keep expanding on that. It's a very solid point.
Yeah, because the problem is that right now, he is a very potent damage threat. Like, because he's not as big of a damage threat, they're going for Jinx first. His spells don't do as much damage because he relies on using his soldiers to do a lot of damage. Instead of utilizing, say, I don't know, using Conquering Sands for a lot of damage, or just having his soldiers do more damage on a hit, it means that, sure, you can put in 2 extra auto attacks, maybe 3 auto attacks if you manage to get the slow quickly enough. But it doesn't put out as much damage as if you had done it instead going for, say, the Death Cap and the Void Staff. And that would also, not only would that make it so that, okay, you do a little bit more damage, that also makes you a huge threat, and now they have to focus you, much like what is happening with Lulu, with Orianna. They have to focus a lot of threat onto that.
YG Splash taking a lot of chunk damage out. Oh my gosh, Ricari getting the shutdown kill, solo style. 3 crit rockets is gonna secure a mid lane turret for them, possibly the inhibitor here. Chino Baby trying to find a way into the backline, but they've set up a massive wall between the Muscle Man, the tree, and the Boxer. Oh man, that explosive cast knocks the target into his team. However, it is the support, and that's not the person they were looking for. Vanquished out of nowhere gets explosive and takes the inhibitor.
And I would just like to point that my comment still remains the same, because Alcantos had nothing to do with that kill. It was Ricari's crits that killed him.
There was not even an assist on that kill either. It was just boom, rocket, flash, rocket, death. That's the dragon going over. That's putting a timer
really
on
low.
Industrious Gaming. Chino Baby going in, but he's being focused down by all 4 members. He's got a lot of damage on him, and he's not able to get out of there in time. 900 teleporting in just to zone him off the fight. Industrious Gaming fighting off the super minions in the mid lane to try to protect their base, and Vanquished is going back towards their mid turret, where I don't know if they'll be able to keep up this offensive siege on Industrious Gaming. There's so much wave clear on Vanquished.
Yeah, Simmerman is going back, and Chino Baby is really low, so I don't really think that there's much they can do about this. What they can do is they can utilize the topside push that's happening to kind of assert some vision onto Baron and maybe make some picks. Baron's up in about 1 minute and 20 seconds, and this is the time where they need to be taking advantage of it. They have a decent amount of vision, but they didn't really check to see if there was any other vision. They didn't check for pink wards.
Yeah, they got a few deep wards on the lane side of the blue jungle on Vanquished. But I agree with you saying they didn't check to sweep it. Granted, there weren't any deep wards because nobody was over there recently. It's still haphazard of them, I guess is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, it's a situation where, okay, sure, it wasn't the case this time, but in practice it would have been better to check just in case, because there's nothing on the map right now that could possibly be taken from Vanquish, so checking doesn't hurt anything. There's no towers, Dragon's down, Baron's down, all the buffs are down, so there's no risk whatsoever.
And now they put those wards down, but because they left the area and had nothing to defend it with, Vanquished is gone and they've swept it out. They've gotten deep wards all across Industrious Gaming's jungle. Not so much into the lane, but they don't need to because the super minions are essentially a walking wall of wards that threatens their mid lane. Vanquished is in such a better position to at least make the initial move in this Baron dance we're about to see unfold before us.
Now, the gold is slowly kind of tipping a little bit more towards Vanquished, as the towers are slowly going away. And I'm not sure. I think that at this point, we're probably going to see a bait at Baron, probably right here.
Yeah, that's such a great idea. You know, you've got the vision control, and Industrious Gaming is revolving around how well they can kite you backwards. But if you force them to aggress into an area, even if they're not looking for a fight, the fact that they have to move forward is not what their comp is designed to do whatsoever.
Yeah, and this is the perfect time to be doing this, because you have supers pushing down mid. Both top and bot are pushing. So as long as you can keep them here, you're winning in the long game. One way or another, you're going to win this.
And those waves are huge. If they choose to send a member to deal with either one of those, they're either losing experience and gold if they don't respond to it, they're losing any sort of Baron pressure they have if they choose to respond to it. Top lane being the easier one to respond to, 900 does not have teleport, he can't go deal with it unless he's in with running distance to his team, but in that case it might be too late.
And we see Ricari is going towards bot lane. He's going to get a little bit of damage on his splash here, but he's more interested in getting this tower. He's going to rip through it really fast.
Yeah, look at that minigun just stacking up the attack speed. Simrim jumping in to provide some defense. 1,000 damage crits coming across minions. Ricari gets caught in the shockwave. He is instantly deleted. Got the Cougar going extremely low. Chino Baby nuking Simrim right into the team via explosive cast. Calvin was nowhere near his team to peel for him. The body slam catches him, but he has to flash over the wall, and Alcantos zones him off with the Shuriman wall. However, they gave up so much to Industrious Gaming when they had such a great setup on the map.
I think that was a little bit too risky, again, from Ricari. He just assumed that he'd be a little bit safer than he actually was, and it just didn't work out for him. Splash, once again, catching him with a shockwave, and that's all it takes to kill him. He didn't have flash, he didn't have heal up at the time, so there was no way that he was going to be able to survive something like that.
And look at this, IG probably going to secure their second Baron, unless Cat the Cougar can make some ridiculous steal move here. It's going to be very risky for him to get that close. Having Callista with Rend and Chino Baby's Smite, it's almost impossible to steal that away if they're working in tandem.
And looks like they're just going to give up the Baron, let it go. It's the best thing that they can do. Now, tables have turned. The mid lane inhibitor has now respawned, and both top and bot side are pushing out. This would be the time where I would like to see the 1-3-1 split, because there's a huge wave bot side building. It's about 3, maybe 2.5 minion waves worth of minions just all clumped together. And that by itself, if you have Pocket Knife there with just the Baron, like, that's enough to be able to take out a tower. Dragon's up in 50 seconds. We'll see if they're going to fight over this. I'm not sure if they think it's something that they have the potential to, but they don't have an option. This will be Dragon 5. So Vanquished really wants to get this tower, and on the other hand, Industrious Gaming really doesn't want them to get it.
Yeah, it's a huge win condition for Vanquish, and it's impeccable timing in terms of neutral objectives, because Industrious Gaming has Baron, but you force them to fight around Dragon, that Baron buff is essentially irrelevant. Yes, they can use it to push the side waves before the fight, but Baron does them no good when they're in the jungle, and it forces them to not go to the lanes where they can be taking even more advantages.
And it looks like they're having to keep rotating around, try and do what they can to keep this mid lane pushed up just enough. They're going to leave a few minions so that it'll start pushing towards their opponent. But the dragon is spawned, and it's being started. Trap's being able to zone them off very well.
They really want that 5th dragon. Alcantar's throwing down the wall to keep the fight zoned off. Pocket Knife is taking so much damage. A 4-man ult coming out from Sinrim is huge. However, IG Swords is on the backline, free hitting. Same goes for Carry. He's on a double kill. The flash in from Alcantos and Calvin. They're catching them out. Swords has got a double kill, but he's soon to fall afterwards. No, he's not. I lied to you. Oriana gets a triple kill. IG Splash turning that fight on a dime. That's the ace for Industrious Gaming. They've still got a little bit left in the Baron minions. Let's see if they can take a turret, maybe the inhibitor.
Once again, I have to berate Ricari here. That was awful. That was the 4th time you've been caught by a shockwave and died because you got caught by a shockwave. And it was the most obvious shockwave in the world. Like,
oh my gosh, are they looking to end this? There's 30 seconds on the clock for the majority of the members.
Yeah, they've got 15 seconds until Simrim.
This is wild. IG was playing on the back foot for the entire game, and this looks like they're about to end it. There's 5 seconds on Simran, but I don't think the Muscle Man has enough strength to keep this Nexus afloat, and it's gonna go down. Industrious Gaming with a win against Vanquished.
Well. Oh well. Splash, you may as well be a fisherman, because that ball was basically a bobber and you kept fishing for jinxes. Alright,
line
well,
and sinker.
Very well played. We will be setting up our next game shortly. Stay tuned, guys.